Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Niche Nerd Podcast. I'm your host that's a little bit sick, Spencer, and I'm joined by my host who's hopefully not as sick as me, Wes.
Oh, I'm so sick.
Yesterday, I'm really glad we didn't podcast yesterday because I would have had to cancel. I was actually done, West.
It's good we didn't podcast on our day where we don't podcast.
Yeah. The thing is, when you have a toddler and he's sick and all he wants in the world is, he says, "Daddy, can you just lay down with me? I don't feel good. I want you to lay with me." You can't say no.
You also get sick.
You also get sick. And so I have paid the ultimate price for my love for my child, and now have a sore throat and a headache.
Yeah, the human snot rag phase is a rough one.
Yeah. Luckily, it seems like I'm a little bit on the upswing. It wasn't that bad at the beginning. Yesterday was the only day that was really bad. So, he is just a snotty mess though. So if you guys, ever want to know why not to have kids, it's because they're snotty. Like literally. Anyway, done talking about my kids' excrements. Let's talk about what we're talking about today, which is your favorite game of all time, West.
Yeah, I really can't debate that, can I?
Why would you want to?
I don't know. I like other games.
But we are going to talk about Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver for the Nintendo DS. Before we get too far into this game and why it's one of West's favorites, a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget to check out the Discord. We have an MTG event going on in, what is it, the end of this month. It's
I don't know, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, so if you're not in the Discord, it's a free event for everybody in the Discord. Win some dollar bills, y'all. And test out the new MTG standard. But if I'm just starting WandaVision. I don't know about you, Wes, if you've gotten to start that show, but I plan to talk about that in the Discord a little bit, kind of stuff like that.
I've only been asked if I had watched WandaVision by 30 people now, so I'm definitely not starting it.
I've only watched the first episode, but we have started it because we finished Fire Force this last week. So. But if you want to talk anime, WandaVision, Star Wars, Pokemon, anything nerdy, really, head on over to the Discord. Check it out. A quick update on the Patreon. I am going to do a rebranding of Easy Game Media that will include this podcast, which will mean that you will get we'll have some swag, at least t-shirts and stuff like that for the podcast, available, offered through Patreon. So head on over to patreon.com. Check out what we've got going on right now, but I'm hoping to get that done in the next month or so. If not, it could be after March, but that's kind of my goal. Right now. But head on over to patreon.com/ I almost said the wrong thing. Patreon.com/EasyGameMedia to check out some of the things we have going on over there. With that being said, let's go into our main topic, West. And I want you to choo-choo take off this hype train, man. What's going on?
I will hype up the game that I will always be able to hype up. The first thing that you need to know about Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver is that it is a remake of arguably the best Pokemon games from the Game Boy Color generation, Pokemon Gold and Silver, but really Pokemon Crystal remakes, if you ask me. There's a lot going on there that gets put into the plot of the game. Super clean polish. All the Pokemon sprites look amazing. They all move. It's in full color. If you played only Gold and Silver, you don't get full color quite. You don't get moving sprites quite. This solves those problems. And it just has the 4th gen Pokemon engine, which is where Pokemon types really start to settle out. It's where the physical special move split settles out, which is awesome. But the real reason you should play Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver for the DS is because you will get one of these sweet little devices that is cooler than... I don't have it in here. I was going to pull out a Pokewalker.
That was great. Let's... You've already started covering too much of our show notes, West.
I know.
You've
the
hyped
game
it
is
up.
Awesome.
You've hyped it
it's
up so
Pokemon.
well. Let's go into overall impressions. A high-level look as to what we love about what we're reviewing today. And I'm going to go first. I'm going to break show notes, and I'm going to say this first. Um, I remember specifically getting gold when I got that game for the first time. And when Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out for the DS, I didn't get it. I had a bunch of friends who were playing it at the time, but I was playing basketball. I had just like I don't know. I just had gone past to when I was playing Pokemon. Kind of the end of the Diamond and Pearl time in Pokemon. I just was like, I've done this a bunch. I'm kind of over it. And so when Heart Gold Soul Silver came out, I didn't play it. And playing it now, I was 19 when this game came out. I was too cool for school, guys, and I regret it. And that's my
Literally
overall
graduated from it.
Yeah. That's my overall impression with this is I regret getting too cool for school.
Trainer school.
I wish that I had played this when it came out because I think it would have been a better experience for me. But that being said, I'm still going to complete this cartridge that I have right now, and I'm excited for that. For up front, I have only got I think I have 6 badges as of right now. I'm about 17 hours into the game. That's with leaving my DS on a bunch on accident. But it's been a great time. It's been fun, and I think that is the highest praise you can give something. When it comes to nerddom, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. What are you? What's your overall impression?
Well, I think the first thing that's just necessary to talk about in this game is Pokemon following you. I think it just makes the game so much better from that moment where Elm says, like, hey, walk with your starter Pokemon. It'll be great. And like your little Cyndaquil or Totodile or Chikorita pops out there and you turn around and say hi to it. And it goes like, hi. Well, first it brings me right back to Pokemon Yellow, right? Having your Pikachu follow you around. It really embodies that feeling. And takes it an extra degree farther by letting it be any Pokemon, not just your starter Pokemon that lets you follow around. And then the other thing that I just love about this game is that everything feels really good to do. The menu feels clean. The getting to tap the bottom screen to access your menu works really great. The having multiple items registered to your bottom screen is awesome. And at least they kept the most important part of the lore of Gold and Silver, which is that Whitney is still broken.
Yeah, I definitely died to a Miltank without meaning to. And it was honestly, I played Gold a bunch as a kid and played a little bit of Crystal. I never had died to Whitney before, but I definitely did on this replay. It was like, oh, okay, let's run this back.
Were you not a Cyndaquil main as a kid?
I was a Chikorita and mostly so my very first playthrough ever, I got Totodile. And I think almost every playthrough after that, I got Chikorita. So, fun facts about me. Let's talk about something really quick though. Our first and only review we've ever done on this podcast for a video game was a Pokemon game, West. Why do you have so much influence over the kind of games that we review?
I really don't.
Two of your favorite games of all time first? It's almost like your co-host is buttering you up for a bunch of Star Wars games.
It's almost like you're going to struggle to get me to play and finish all of those Star Wars games.
No, but I want to talk about... I think that... I love what you put in the show notes. This legitimately is just one of West's favorite games. And... it was something that I had wanted to... I'd played this game on an emulator a bunch of times for, like, a few hours. Gotten through X amount of it, but I had not actually tried to beat this game before. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go for it. And even though I got really busy this month and I didn't quite get to where I wanted to before we did the review, I've had a lot of fun, and I wanted to, experience the things that Wes loves so much. Wes, your answer for this is a little bit different.
I mean, why do we choose another Pokemon game, or why do we choose this game? Because those are different answers. Those are different questions. Why we chose another Pokemon game is I would never mind if Need to Nerd Podcast just became a Pokemon casual play brand, and all we talked about was doing stupid, unfocused things about having fun with Pokemon, I would be very happy with it.
Sure.
But this game's great. I don't need an excuse to replay this game. I don't need an excuse to touch this game. I'm so stoked to be talking about this game today.
Yeah, this game's a good time, and I think we should talk a little bit about why you would replay a Pokemon game. I think that for me, West, the reason to sometimes replay Pokemon games is that sometimes you need to play a game you know. It's like your mom's mashed potatoes and gravy, or your hot chocolate after you go skiing or snowboarding or sledding, or it's that comfort food, that space that just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I think I said this either last week on this podcast, or maybe I just said it to you personally, that I just will replay a version of Red, Blue, or Yellow every year. I do it really fast because I'm always doing it on an emulator, which I would never recommend. Don't do that. But just fast forward through stuff and just get it done, and just, I don't know, it's like a cleanse to the soul. Going through Team Rocket's base, or I know that back when I was young and I played this game a bunch, there was just something about the radio tower, or something about Lake Rage, stuff like that, it was just this thing that you'd done a bunch of times that made you feel accomplished, and going back and feeling accomplished through part of your childhood was, I don't know, a cool experience. And I think that for me, that's why I replay Pokemon games far more than I think the things that I go back to are usually Ruby and Sapphire and Blue and Red. But there will definitely be a day where I just go play Pokemon X and Y again. It's probably my next replay, for what it's worth. I just think that comfort food is really cool.
Oh, definitely. It's very similar to how people will just rewatch a television show they've seen. There are people who have watched The Office 4, 5, half a dozen times. I really don't want to know.
Netflix came out and actually said that somebody last year watched Lord of the Rings 200 and it might have just been The Return of the King or something. They watched it 260 something times. That's,
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with reducing people's anxiety, right? It has that predictable feeling. It uses that time. If where you're at, your headspace is just not having a good time, has too many unknowns, replaying a Pokemon game can be a great way to quiet that down for a while.
I actually just really love playing Pokemon before falling asleep. I think that has to do with the fact of, that's what I would do as a kid. My mom would turn out the lights and we go get our little dangly light, put it above our... I know you had an SB, you didn't deal with this, but we had...
I lived that life for a little while. Don't worry about me. I definitely... Or a flashlight plus my Game Boy? Yeah, definitely did that too.
I never had to do that. I had a bedside lamp that I would rather turn on before I did that. But
you get caught.
I mean, I have been caught playing Pokemon many times in my life.
Yep.
But no, I think that you're right. I think that you have like you said, that it reduces your anxiety. For me, listening to an audiobook while playing Pokemon is just that is the thing that's going to get me. I mean, it takes no mental energy for me to play Pokemon Blue or Red at this point.
Just not a little bit.
Just none at all. So just have an audiobook on while doing that. It's just...
It's also not even reading.
Yeah, it's just so good.
Which might have been your problem with some of your complaints later in this, but that's okay.
Time out. All right, we'll get into that. But I want to talk about the new craze in Pokemon West, and why so many people are revisiting Pokemon in a new way.
Well, sure. So there's the one that's the old new craze, and that's just playing a Nuzlocke. And if you've never heard of a Nuzlocke before, it's named after a webcomic where someone invented a way to play through Pokemon games where they had to nickname every Pokemon they caught, and they could only catch the first Pokemon they encountered everywhere they went. On every route or in a city, they could only catch the first Pokemon, and if any time a Pokemon got knocked out, that Pokemon died. They would either release it or put it into a graveyard box and never play it again with that playthrough. And the comic alongside it, like, really chronicled the ups and downs of this person's playthrough doing it. And it's a lot easier to read in a lot of drama to these things, right? In the normal playthrough of the game, if your Pokemon faints, whatever, right? You got another one. If you all wipe, whatever, you'll do it again. Go get some levels, train up. Nuzlocks, every choice counts. You always have to worry about being critted. It's definitely a way to take Pokemon and make it, I wouldn't say more challenging, because I think a lot of people will just grind their way to the point of never having a problem playing it. They'll just battle a lot. But it definitely makes Pokemon more tense. There are definitely decisions that matter. There are choices that matter. But I like to take it one step forward, one step further. And I think some other people are doing this now as well. I mean, I learned it from some other people. I actually learned it from a Magic streamer who would do it between rounds of like Moto PTQs and stuff. And that is doing a random lock. That's where you use a program to make a version of your ROM for an emulator, where instead of normal wild Pokemon as they normally would be, they're set to random things. And you can make it that it's always 100% random, any Pokemon in the Pokedex you can find anywhere you go, or you can make it that, like, for every Zigzagoon on this route, that's replaced with a random Pokemon from the Pokedex. For every Poliwag on this route, that's replaced with a random Pokemon from the Pokedex. And there's a few of these programs out there. You can definitely find it. You can just Google, how to random lock Pokemon or whatever, and people can definitely get you set up. But I find that's really fun, and it's also like a good, like, it's a, like, even if you're not going to play like full through the entire game of it, like the first like 3 hours of playing a random lock are pretty fun, because you don't know what you're going to find, right? You could end up with a Dialga in your party as of Route 1 if you get a really, really lucky Pokeball throw, or you could be trying to figure out how to play through the game with a Bidoof and like a Seedot.
What are you talking about? Professor Elm's going to give you that Dialga.
That could happen as well. Yes, totally could happen. Yeah.
That's like the most common viral TikToks, by the way, for Pokemon is random locks, where like they're like, their choices. I saw one where the choice was between Mew, Mewtwo, and Entei, and it was like, what the heck?
That's sweet. And like you can even like do like a duplicate random lock, where like you and your friend use the same seed, and you can like literally play through the exact same random scenarios and see who does better and who gets different things.
Yeah. Let's talk about kind of set the stage here before we get too far into this. How did you play this time around, West?
This time around, I played a random lock.
And this time around, I played on a cartridge, and I did not play them the way I normally play. Because normally, as West hinted at, I'm a grinder. Like, I will just sit on the first route until my first Pokemon's, if I got I'm like, I'll wait for a Totodile to evolve before even moving forward. And West had mentioned on a show a while ago how he likes to play Pokemon on hard mode, basically, and be underleveled throughout most of the game.
Yeah, not even necessarily underleveled. I like switching Pokemon out frequently. I like making sure that my party is always kind of changing, and I'm bringing in new Pokemon I freshly caught.
Sure.
Kind of at every stage of the game, just to really like, and they definitely design the game a little bit, so like some of the levels where you start to access the cooler Pokemon is when they start showing up in the game as well, so this works out pretty well.
Sure.
But it definitely means that like sometimes I show up to a gym and I'm like, oh, I got rid of my fire type, like, 2 badges ago. I don't have a fire type on my team. Guess we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, so that's kind of similar to what happened with me in this playthrough. I just kind of was going through the game until I hit a spot where I had to level up my team, and then I would go grind a little bit. But that was basically it, and it was a different experience for me. How was your random lock before we get into our love-its and stuff for the game overall?
It was good. I remember having a Pokemon. I think I had like a Poochyena die really early on. I was not happy about that. I was like looking forward to that guy being my Morty hack, being the Pokemon that got me through the Ecruteak gym badge. But like then sooner rather than later, I picked up a Drapion on my team. Like I was like, sweet, this thing's got good typing. So like I was not too concerned. I believe I got past the final end boss of Pokemon Johto games, which is Whitney, of course. If you survive Whitney, you can survive anything. But then I got distracted by other things in life.
I did, like I said, I died to Whitney for the first time ever this time. So let's go on to love it's for this game. And in this segment, we typically talk about things that we liked the most or we loved what we're reviewing. And I kind of mentioned this. It might have been on last week's. We didn't record last week. We recorded the week before, but I might have mentioned it on that show. Sprites, man. I have now played every Pokemon game but Black and White and Black and White 2. At least to some amount. And this game has the best sprites. It's just, I don't even know that it's like a question. Don't get me wrong. I have always wanted to play 3D Pokemon. And I hope that one day, if it is, a Platinum Diamond remake on this Switch next to me. I want this game to be able to say, I want this system to be able to say these are the best Pokemon I've ever seen. But we certainly can't say that on the 3DS. That's cool.
Black and White was also a major sprite disappointment as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
But I can certainly say that these sprites are so crisp. They are so clean.
And you get to see them on the world map.
Oh, they're so vibrant.
For everyone you get, it's so good.
It's so cool. I really, really liked them. My next one is the quality of life upgrades. I'll kind of get into this. There are a few things that I don't like about the quality of life upgrades compared to how they could have been, but I really do. Just running shoes is just such a... I can't express how great that is. There are so many kids that did not have to experience, these games without them. And let me tell you, they're just a lifesaver. They're so good.
You have a very different opinion than me. I get mad every time I leave Little Root Town, and my mom yells at me for not getting my shoes.
You're so weird. That's one of them. I think that this game has a couple other quality of life upgrades that are really important. That
just like one or two.
Yeah, that Wes will cover. But I also think that this game did a really good job of capturing gold, silver, and crystal in like a lot of different ways. There are a couple of changes that I noticed playing through, I think the tower, like Bellsprout Tower or whatever it was not the same in this one.
It's almost identical.
Is it?
Yeah.
Then there's the, seeing the... And obviously, this is just from Gold and Silver, but, Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, the first sighting of them was a little bit different than I remembered. Stuff like that, where it's just really cool. I mean, obviously, that's because a lot of this has Crystal Remake stuff in it, but yeah, I thought it did a good job of kind of taking this beloved game and really capturing it.
Oh, for sure. It really did have so many of these excellent things, and I really think it took it a step farther. There were some things in Red, Blue, Yellow that felt like they were missing from Gold and Silver that I think that this game brought and made good. Like the first being there's no Safari Zone in Pokemon Gold Silver. Like you get to Fuchsia City in Kanto and you're like, sick, okay, I'm ready. Give me a Chansey. And they're like, sorry, Chansey, you got to go catch it out in the wild over that way. Sorry. No, nothing to see here. Safari Zone's closed. And you're like, what? Where do I get my Kangaskhan? It just didn't make sense to me that they chose to take this fantastic feature from the first game where you could get Pokemon. They were usually a higher level than you could usually capture. You didn't have to do the work. You just got to capture them. You had to be persistent. They just said, nah, let's take it out of Gold and Silver. Well, they put it back in this game. And they probably made it better than any other Pokemon game. There's a few things I really like about it. First, there are it's not a very big Safari Zone. And it's made up of 6 kind of areas that you can change out after playing. You can go back and say, all right, instead of this plains area, I want the mountain area. And instead of the meadow area, I want the waterfall area. And you can find really different Pokemon in each of them. And then I learned also that there are these objects you can go in and place, and over time they'll attract Pokemon to that place if it's natural for that environment, leading to some really fascinating Pokemon to be findable in the Safari Zone. Not super early in the game because it takes some days of actual just like in world, like of, clock hours passing before they start showing up. And, you'll have wanted to play before that, but like, you can get a Gibble out of the Safari Zone in this game.
Nice.
It only takes 100 days.
There you
go. Additionally, every time I go back and I play through Gold, Silver, or Crystal, I'm like, where is my Firestone, my Waterstone, my Leaf Stone, my Thunderstone? There are all these cool Pokemon I want to evolve every time. I just want a Poliwrath. And then you learn that you don't get them until way later, after you beat the Elite Four. You're all the way in Kanto at Cerulean City, and you talk to Bill, and he starts offering them up to you. Or like there's like 3% chances on calls from like a couple of different people in Johto on the hands of in Crystal. But in Heart Gold Soul Silver, there's a pretty easy direct way to get your stones, and that's through the Pokeathlon, which is this fun mini game based alternative place. It's really based on the on the touch screen of the DS. Like, it really makes that mechanic honed in. And by playing that, they're a lot like, they're not the same as the contests of Hoenn, but it's the same feeling. And over time, as you get points, you could start buying these resources, including the evolution stones, which is really nice just to help you get like some of these cooler Pokemon, because no one wants to walk around with level 50 Growlithe. Like, you just want that Arcanine, and you want it early because it's sweet. So I'm really happy about that.
Fun fact, I literally have a Vulpix, a Weeping Bell, Nidorino, and something else that I'm looking to evolve right now.
Is your mom saving money for you?
Yes.
You should be able to get a Moonstone soon.
Cool. Did she just give me one? Oh, you know what? She might have bought me one and put it in my box, and I forgot.
Yep.
I think I already
That's the thing that happens. Moonstone's not too hard, but definitely like the other evolution stones, those are hard to get. The last thing for like the story mode that was, and like for like, I was playing this within a week of it coming out. I started my Heart Gold playthrough on March 26th, 2010. And the hypest thing ever came in these boxes, and that was the Pokewalker. The reason it was so cool is, it was this thing that like, it was like pre-Pokemon Go, in that I got to walk around in life, be on the train on my way home from school, and I get to like see someone else with this tiny little red and white thing on their belt and be like, oh, you play Pokemon. I don't know you. You're a stranger. You don't know me. We're strangers. But I know you play Pokemon. I can see this on you. We can get a small little benefit in our Pokewalkers, and we can just talk about Pokemon for a while. Super, super cool feature. Really fun. And it reminded me of like Tamagotchis, and really took that attitude into it. Just the coolest feature. Like, I think that nowadays the Pokewalker feels a bit arcane, but it was the coolest thing for, the few months around when Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver came out, when you would see other people in public with their Pokewalkers because they still were actually receiving benefits from it. And there are some just wild Pokemon that you can find in it that like you can't find anywhere else in Heart Gold Soul Silver. You can get way earlier than you could otherwise. It was just a great feature for helping you like access things in the game as well.
Let's snap off some post-game features that you love.
Oh yeah, big one, Battle Frontier. Pokemon games are like no fun after you beat everything and you're like, I have all these powerful Pokemon, what do I do with them? And even better, Battle Frontier doesn't even require you to have the powerful Pokemon. I've always loved Battle Factory. Elitist environment. I would play, I'd play like a tournament right now against people with Battle Factory. Like, hands down, it would be the best experience ever. Like, getting to steal good Pokemon from other people after beating them, that'd be so much fun. Battle Factory was sweet. I love the Battle Frontier. The other thing is there are just like 12 legendary Pokemon available in this game. from other games, right? All of the Kanto legendaries are available, all of the legendary birds, Mewtwo available. You can even get like Lugia in Heart Gold, you can get Ho-Oh in Soul Silver, you can get Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, Latios, Latias, like all of these awesome legendaries are available in this game. And then finally, 4th gen competitive play was amazing. This is what really made Heart Gold Soul Silver stick with me as a kid, was that I had friends who were like, we play competitive Pokemon, let's get really into this, let's spend a bunch of our hours breeding and training Pokemon. However, I can't say I was the best competitive Pokemon gamer right now, because looking back on my Link Battle win rate, I won 29 games against my friends and I lost 41 games against my friends. So little 15-year-old Wes still had a lot to prove in the world, but he had a great time doing it.
Let's talk about some could be betters. In this segment, we don't really want to hate on things or tear them down. It's really just things that we thought could be improved. I don't think that we've had a problem with this segment since we kind of brought it to the show. I think we've done a good job of just saying, like, I don't know, not being nitpicky. I think it's like the real key to this segment, and just talking.
It's not our brand.
Yeah,
like, we just want to talk about, like, seriously, what could be better, not what did we dislike.
Sure.
We only identify if there's room for improvement.
Let's start off with you. What are the things that you think could have been better?
Give Chikorita the sweet grass type status moves that actually make grass types good. The fact that Chikorita doesn't get Sleep Powder or Leech Seed is the thing that makes Chikorita an underwhelming starter in the game. It's not the typing you face. That's irrelevant. If you could Sleep Powder things, it would never matter. Chikorita gets Razor Leaf, and that's the last good move Chikorita gets. And that's at level 7. That's my real complaint. And they could have fixed that for this game. It would have made Chikorita awesome. And then the only other complaint I really have about this game is not even a complaint I had at the time because I didn't know better, but man, if Gen 6 breeding like tools existed in this game, there would not be any reason to play any other Pokemon game after this, in my opinion. Like, if I could pass off 5 IVs to my baby Pokemon in breeding in this game, I would never need anything else. Just, it was so hard to breed for IVs in Gen 4, it wasn't worth doing. And, like, I wish that could have changed.
All right. You didn't mention the thing that I thought you were going to mention, which is the flat level curve due to having to travel to Kanto.
Well, I'm going to let you do that.
I just, was this the case in the originals as well?
Worse.
It was worse. Okay. It does not feel good. It's kind of, it feels like your Pokemon are always teetering on underleveled and overleveled wherever you go on the map. And nothing evolves like as fast as I want it to, and it's, I don't know, it feels less exciting. I don't know, I actually
really like all the Johto level, like all Johto Pokemon, like Gen 2 Pokemon, evolve between 20 and 30.
Yeah, that's true. The thing is that I don't even think that it's that unreasonable. Like, you're making a new game, right? Like, you could have just given me a new starter Pokemon when I got to Kanto and just encouraged me to start over. Like, you, right? Like,
I mean, I guess. I mean, that would have had to have been done in Gold Silver because this is a remake, not a new game.
Why does it matter? What's the difference?
Because you know exactly how people are, Spencer.
Whatever. You think people are going to be upset that you give them a Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur? You're insane.
No, you get that. You get that anyways. You get that.
That's true.
But if you had to go back to just that...
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be very encouraging. Lower the levels in Kanto completely, which happens on the first, if I remember correctly from my Gold and Silver run, it still happens when you go through that, like, the Pidgeys are only, like, level whatever, right?
Wild Pokemon are almost exactly the same levels as where they were.
And trainers are not,
correct? Blue, yellow, and then trainers are all still very powerful.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't like it. I didn't like it this playthrough, and that's the thing. I have another complaint. It's mostly my fault, and I'm going to preface this with one time when I was playing, it might have been Pokemon Yellow. I don't remember which one it was. But so in the original Pokemon games, when you go to the Elite Four, there's you have to go through these people. You have to show them the badge, and then you get a pass through, right? And I got to the end of the game.
Thing ever, actually, though. It's such a cool experience doing it for the first time.
It's pretty cool. I get to this thing one time. I get to the third badge. Like, you don't have the Thunder badge, and I'm like, I beat this. I mean, the Thunder badge, for what it's worth, those who don't know, is Flash. So you don't actually need it to beat the game.
You're wrong.
Is it not Flash?
It's Fly.
Oh man, that's so much worse.
Yeah. Flash is first gym.
Oh, I beat the game without Fly. Anyway, you would think I would have noticed that.
Yeah, you would think.
Anyway.
You would have noticed it this time, too.
I definitely would have. Well, except that I didn't. Anyway, I'm playing the game, and I'm texting West, and I'm like, West, why am I not getting a call from Professor Elm to go to the radio tower? And we, get on a call together. He's like, dude, I don't know. And then he's like, wait a second. Have you done X or Y? And I was like, what? No. So where did you go after this? I was like, I went this way. And so I had gotten the sixth badge or something? The seventh badge? I had gotten the 7th badge early. I don't know why I have this problem. I don't know what my problem is, West, but apparently I like skipping steps in Pokemon. But I really feel like they shouldn't let you do that if they don't want you to.
This is a Gen 1, Gen 2 feature.
They didn't let me. He wanted me to buy a Rage Candy Bar, which I had no interest in, and the radio tower didn't come off, but, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But man, did I beat Team Rocket underneath the?
It's interesting because this is actually something that has legacy in Gen 1, right? This is a Kanto thing as well, is that you can beat badges 4 through 7 in any order as well.
That's true.
You do have to beat badge 5 before you can beat badge 7, but that's the only thing that actually has you do it in order. You can leave Erica as long as you want.
Yes, you can. I don't know. I don't know that it's it could be better as much as it was a frustration for this playthrough. Because I got to the city and I remembered what I had to do for the city, right? I have to go to Lake Rage, I have to get surf, I have, blah, blah, blah. I have to go into the hideout and stuff like that. And then it's why am I stuck?
Yeah. Although that's kind of sad to me because the best part about when I played Heart Gold Soul Silver was when I got through doing my 5th badge, my 6th badge, and I discovered that there was a new place I could go in Cyanwood or whatever the 6th, the fighting gym badge, that town that's all the way across the water, going up towards the new Safari Zone. There's 3 new routes there with real leveled Pokemon. They're level 24 or whatever.
Yeah.
That are actually just sweet. Lots of cool Pokemon over there, and you get to go to the Safari Zone. That was when playing
that's where
through
I'm at
the
right
story.
Now, I just unlocked the Safari Zone. There's tons of stuff to do over there now. I'm having a great time. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, could be better on my part.
Yes. That's an interesting way to think of could be better.
Why should people play this game? You kind of answered at the beginning, but
this game's delightful. It's just so much fun. And I think that the cool thing about this game, and I think Johto does really well, is that this is a game that I think has the guardrails on for younger kids playing. They don't have to super train their Pokemon. It's not going to be that hard to beat it, except Whitney, and Whitney's supposed to be frustrating. That's part of the game. That's part of life. I think that this game has a super shallow surface that you can play through, and it's still a really good time. But there's also a lot of depth. There's a lot of places that you can go back to find new things after you unlock HMs. There's a lot of places that have deeper mechanics than you originally thought. You can spend a whole afternoon at the Ruins of Elf and still not solve everything. It's just a great time.
I was gonna skip the rest of my could be betters, but you made me bring them. You made me have to bring them up, West, because as somebody that whose favorite favorite games in order are probably, Ruby, Sapphire, and then probably XY. I really am sick. I was already sick of HM moves, and I think that like it could be better. That does get better, but also I miss the XPL, man, and I have to bring it up. I have to. How do you continue to play Pokemon games without experience all?
Because choosing to train the Pokemon I want to use is the point of the game, Spencer.
Well, I am training them. They're in my party.
No. You're leaving them around. Like, you know, like you have to use your Pokemon for them to get better, Spencer. I don't know any other way. Like, I don't think watching makes me better at things. I mean, it might a little bit,
It
but
does,
like,
though. You listen to podcasts all the time.
yeah, that's an active choice. That's a participation, if you ask me. Listeners, you're participating in this conversation.
Yeah.
You're just not saying anything.
I don't know. I wanted to bring those up, but I think that for me, the reason to play this game in 2021 is it lets you experience a really great game and kind of a revolutionary game in a lot of ways, especially for the Pokemon franchise. Like I don't know that they could have had a more successful sequel to a hit game. Like, and the fact that they knocked it out of the park with the remake is really impressive. Like,
Yeah.
it's really impressive.
It's the gold standard for future Pokemon remakes.
Yeah. I've been impressed the entire time playing it, even at the time where I said I was frustrated. So let's rate it on this podcast. We give it from a 0 to 5. West, we've never given anything a 0. Are we about to start now? No.
Only if we invert the scale, because I'm about to give this thing a 5.
Woo! Perfect score.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
No. Why would you be surprised?
Yeah, I would not give this a 5.
Serious reasons, I think this game gets a 5. I think it is visually stunning.
Yeah.
I think it has probably, like, considering how few Pokemon show up in base Sword and Shield, it's probably the second or third Pokemon game with the most Pokemon available in it without ever touching another game in the franchise. Like, between a Gold and Silver game, Heart Gold, Soul Silver game, you can get all but 42 Pokemon in Gen 4. And that's only missing 10% of the total Pokemon that there are at this point.
Yeah, I think I would give this a 4 for what it's worth. I think this game's solid. I think that for a lot of people, this is a revisit to their introduction. I think that this is pretty amazing. Maybe I'd give it a 4-5. I might talk myself up as I keep talking. But I think that Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver captures, I mean, the sprites are so beautiful. They're actually beautiful. The love that you have for kind of those early generation Pokemon games. It's so funny that I'm going to say this, and West, I'm sure, will snap at me for it, but like, the Pokemon don't go weird by Gen 2. Like, there are a couple oddballs, but like, we're not catching ice cream cones or garbage yet. You know, we're catching, other weird stuff. And I don't know, for some reason, it just resonates more with me.
Yeah. Also, they made so much better choices with this remake than they did with Fire Red Leaf Green, because you have all of the newer Pokemon that were not initially available in the game still available during the first playthrough. When I was playing Fire Red Leaf Green and discovered that my Golbat couldn't evolve to a Crobat, I nearly threw my thing at a wall.
That is frustrating, right?
But like, the fact that I can get Togekiss in this game is so sick. It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That is going to do it. Don't forget to check out the show every week on YouTube or on whatever podcast app you like. If you like, review, rate, whatever it is, it really does help the show out. Wes, do you have anything you have to say before we go?
Play this game.
There you go. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. Thank you for putting up. I don't know how my voice will sound on the recording, but if it sounds sick, I apologize. I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss 2 weeks in a row, so I tried to make sure to be on this week. But I love the listeners. I love the growth that this podcast has seen last year. It kind of all happened at the tail end, but it's greatly appreciated, and I hope that we can make 2021 really great. Go play Pokemon, guys. Bye.
Use Crobat. That Pokemon's great.